Welcome to the Regal Eagle Report. I'm Wasia.
I'm Loveline.
And I'm Encore, and we are your co-hosts.
We're Team 2869, a diverse and inclusive team located at Bethpage High School.
We are aiming for our podcast to be an outlet to interact with other teams and collaborate on varied ideas and thoughts.
We are so excited to introduce our brand new series where we'll be interviewing one team from each state.
Embark on our journey as we will be aiming to hit every state, reaching our goal of 50.
For this week's episode, we'll be interviewing a Hall of Fame team from West Virginia, the Mountaineer Area Robotics, also known as MARS.
So please introduce yourselves as long as your position on the team, and I'll start first. I'm Encore. I'm the VP of Engineering and Programming.
I'm Loveline, and I'm the fundraising manager.
I'm Wasia, and I'm the podcast manager.
Sorry.
No, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Hi, I'm Helen. I'm the president of Mars, and I'm also on the programming team.
I'm Pratham, and I'm the programming lead.
Perfect. Okay, so our first question is, how was your team founded? Like, what is its origin?
Well, we started in 2008, so 17 years ago, and we were founded by 5 former FLL students who just wanted to continue their STEM education. And we had 2 main mentors, Earl Seamy, who's our head mentor today, and Phil Tucker, who sadly passed away in 2015, but due to him, we started our Tucker Teams initiative, which is part of the reason we won Hall of Fame so long ago.
Yeah, and today Earl is still our head mentor, and we've been going for a while, so.
I'm so sorry to hear about that. So was there a story behind your team's name, and if so, what is it?
We're named Mars, so Mountaineer Area Robotics, we are Mountaineer country in West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to our name. Sometimes people think we're Morgantown Area Robotics, but we are not. We are Mountaineer Area Robotics.
I mean, it's also, as a NASA house team, we thought it was fitting to keep, like a space-related names, the Robonauts,
Yeah,
astronauts, Mars, the planets. Gotta make it fit.
yeah.
All right. How long have you guys been involved in FIRST and FRC specifically?
As a team or as students?
As students, you guys individually.
I've been in FRC specifically for about 5 years because I joined the summer before 8th grade. And just FIRST in general for I think 6 or 7 because I did FLL too, so.
I've FRC 5 years as well. We joined the same year. FIRST specifically, I think my mom is she does STEM related activities as a teacher, so that's kind of her job. I think I started when I was 5, so a while.
Yeah, so since you guys are started in 8th grade, is that how your schools work? Do you have high school starts in 8th grade, or do you just recruit from the middle schools?
We're actually not a school-based team. We're a community-based team. So we are in rural Appalachia. We run out of Morgantown, but generally we pull from 6 different counties across 2 different states, West Virginia and Pennsylvania. I'm personally from UHS.
And I'm from a different school, MHS, but yeah, I mean, we were able to join in middle school because sometimes the team lets 8th graders join if they're they come to the meetings, and if they're responsible and doing the work, then we'll let them join. So that's how I was able to join.
But we're pretty open-ended, and considering we pull from all over the state, I mean, West Virginia only has 3 FRC teams, so we want to make sure our reach is really big, we can get everyone involved,
Mm-hmm.
So where is your lab located? How do you get members from so many schools coming to you?
Right now we're actually in the physics building, so this is in WVU, the local university, who is one of our sponsors. So we get to use the machine shop, the stuff downstairs, the different labs, and most people drive all the way down here for meetings, so it's a commitment. But most of the high schools are pretty close by. If people can't make it all the time, we understand that. People are coming all the way from Bridgeport. I know people who drive an hour and a half to get to Mars meetings. but we do outreach all across the state. So we're making sure we're connecting with those kids so they can come here, and we're trying to work with other FRC and drone teams to make sure even if they can't drive here, they still have opportunities.
Yeah, and we also do a lot of advertising, like schools. We'll do presentations at schools, and we work a lot with other levels of FIRST. Like I know I originally found out about Mars because I did FLL, and Mars works with like the state tournament and does a lot of stuff with that. So we kind of try to be involved with the state as much as possible, and that's how we get recruitment from like such a wide reach.
So other than doing presentations in schools, how else do you guys help increase membership from younger students?
That's actually a really pertinent question because last year we had 54% of our team graduate. So over half of our team was gone, and we were kind of like, how are we going to recruit and train all of these kids? But we shifted our focus. We hosted an open house, free training, and fun activities. We talked at our local high schools, lots of community functions, in our local areas and other sorts of things. Just to bring students in. So
yeah, we also have a drone team for like if we have too many students that want to join the team, we have this separate drone team that we have, which is a different competition, but it lets them like learn some of the basics of robotics and how things work, and like working in a team to get them prepared for when they can come into Mars. So that's also pretty helpful. And we just do a lot of outreach events, like we go to science fairs at schools and things like that. So that helps us get more reach.
Yeah, have you ever like considered doing like an FTC team to like as like similar to like the drone team?
That's an interesting question. We don't have an FTC tournament in the state of West Virginia. Oh. So it's really hard to do FTC related stuff without a tournament for them to go to. But I think that's a state thing. We've worked on it before, but it's not something we've been able to manage because of that. Sadly, we love FTC, but having to work around that, we went to the drone team.
Yeah, makes sense. So how do you guys like gather some sponsors?
We focus on, since it's difficult to reach out to sponsors sometimes, we work on maintaining mutually beneficial relationships. So, for example, we work with NASA. They provide funding, and in return, we provide interns and support with the state tournament, which is run by NASA. So we're judges, volunteers, all that sort of stuff. And then another example, WVU, which is where we are right now, they provide our facility and also lots of funding. And in return, I think, how many?
About half.
About half of our alumni end up going to WVU for college, and we get a lot of outreach here as well. So it's mutually beneficial. But other than that, grant writing, reaching out, going out into the community and asking.
Yeah, and like most companies, when they hear, oh, this is a nonprofit working on STEM with like children in a rural state, they're pretty willing to give us some money and help out as sponsors. So that's also pretty helpful.
Do you guys want to list any other sponsors you guys have besides NASA and WVU?
Sure. So we've got, again, NASA WVU Space Grant Consortium, the Catherine Foundation, WVU, Monongalia County Commission, Consul Cares, and then a bunch of smaller sponsors within our community. I know a lot of parents end up sponsoring. Those are our main sponsors.
So, can you guys talk about some of the fundraising initiatives your team has taken throughout the years?
So mainly we try to focus more on grant writing than fundraising to get money for the team. But really our only like real funding initiative is selling our t-shirts at the competitions like WV Rocks, stuff like that. So when people buy t-shirts or like merch, we get some money out of it. But mainly we use grant writing to fund our team.
We have a whole subsection of OPR that's constantly working on grants. And so it seems like every other day we'll be in a team meeting and they'll tell us about another grant they applied for, which I think is really good training for students who are going into college and will need to learn how to grant write anyways. But it's great. We get a lot of money from it, and enough that we can we cover travel for our students, so pretty much everyone can go to Houston. It's very useful coming from, I think, the nation's poorest states.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
Yeah, so now coming towards the robot, how has your robot evolved over the past few years?
So our robots definitely evolved a lot. Like we constantly learn about new things and try to put them into practice. For example, when we first got our limelights for vision on the robot, we used to only have one, and eventually we learned how to use multiple. So now there's two of them on the robot, and currently we're working on maybe trying to even do three on our current robot this year. So things like that, just constantly evolving and trying to add more features that we didn't know how to make work before. Like we work on them in the off season, try to understand how it works, and be able to actually put it into practice during the competition. And like this past year, we switched from LabVIEW to Java, so that was a pretty big change because LabVIEW was really slow to program in, and a lot of the time it was like glitchy and didn't work. And Java is much more efficient, but it was a whole like learning process for everyone to understand how Java works and be able to actually write robot code. So we're always trying to make like these changes that can make the process more efficient.
It's definitely evolving really fast. I remember being so shocked when we got our first limelight. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And now we've got three. And I'm moving to swerves. We just got a water jet this year, so we're machining in-house more. It's great. Definitely a lot of iteration. It's good.
So gearing back towards outreach, is your school district affiliated with, or not school district, is your team affiliated with any FLL teams?
Yes, so I thought this was an interesting fact. Somehow, whether it's through scrimmages, assistance, training, we coach a lot of teams. Mars has affected over half of the FLL teams in our state. It could be through anything. We seeded 7 new FLLC teams this year. We provided registration, robot kits, workspaces. We coached 5 in-house teams. I think we got more than 400 hours of mentoring, which was really good. And then, summer camps, mentoring sessions. We helped run the state tournament with NASA. I think we did an FLLE Expo, and also, is that it? Oh, yearly FLL scrimmages. We do scrimmages at our workhouse. So lots of work with FLL since we can't do FTC.
Do a lot of your current members came from FLL?
Yeah. I think it's
about like 40 something percent.
Yeah. I came from FLL.
I did too, yeah.
So most of us.
Right. So, what are like your major outreach initiatives besides like the FLL?
Besides FLL, we've been working on hybrid STEM crafts. So after COVID, we weren't really able to go out and do outreach. So at events where our physical presence wasn't possible, we created STEM craft kits. They're like engaging activities that demonstrate basic mechanical principles, like circuitry, wiring, all sorts of other stuff. And then we send them out to teachers who ask for them, or other people who ask for them across West Virginia. I think we've had a few outside that too.
Yeah.
And then there's a link to a video where we have people explaining the science behind it, how to set it up, and that way we can get into classrooms all across West Virginia without necessarily being there. So I think that'd be one.
Another one would be we worked with GACO earlier this year. We started a new like series of presentations which we call Appalachia Live, which is basically like 4 times a year, so it's quarterly, and it's just online Zoom meetings where we talk about how we do our outreach and our fundraising and how we run build season, so that teams can hear about it from like 2 Hall of Fame teams and like from the Appalachian region. So it also helps spread the Appalachian voice and help other teams get information from us, and we can connect with other teams.
I'm sure you've noticed the same benefits through your podcast, but yeah, spreading Appalachian voice, showing how, both GACO and us didn't really have many resources. So the fact that we've been able to get outreach so far and become Hall of Fame teams, we wanted to share that and help other teams who could benefit from it.
Yeah, which team are you referring to? Sorry.
Garrett, it's GACO, which stands for Garrett County. What's the team number? Do you know?
The
I
Coalition.
can't
I can look it
remember
up.
the team.
Is it from?
Did they win freshman year?
Yeah, they won.
Encore, the ones that won chairman's freshman year. Do you remember?
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they're from Maryland. I'm not sure.
Yes, we're actually the closest Hall of Fame teams in the nation. They're in Maryland, we're in West Virginia, but I think it's a 20-minute drive, maybe even
Yeah.
less. It's
Wow.
crazy.
It's not that far.
Crazy.
Oh, 1629.
Yeah, the
1629.
team number is 16.
Okay, there we go.
Do you guys want to expand more about? I remember in the beginning you talked about like an initiative your mentor started. Can you talk more about that?
Oh yeah, Tugger team. So at competitions, we'll set up a giant booth. And we have all sorts of parts and supplies and team members running the booth, so we can provide assistance to teams, whether it's through supplies or things that we've learned as a team being there for so long. So at many of our regionals, there'll be teams who have never gone to an FRC event before, and sometimes they'll just show up with a chassis and we'll show them how to build bumpers or help them with their limelight or try to help them with code and supply materials. Or we're constantly running the help desk to give out things, and it's a lot of fun because you get to work with so many different teams and just see how they're doing, help supply stuff. I really enjoy it. I've helped troubleshoot with, I don't know, it's very fun.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy it because you get to see so many different ways of making the robot that you wouldn't probably have seen otherwise, and you get to go help these teams, and there's so many challenges you would have never expected to come up, so you also get to learn a lot about problem solving in the process. And a lot of the time you can probably even apply those lessons to our own team, which is helpful so that we don't get those problems too.
But it'd be no fun if a team came all the way out to regionals and weren't even able to compete because they didn't have code running. So if we can help teams get out on the fields and play some matches together, and it's always so much fun seeing the rookie team get out there and move off the line with some code that we figured out together. It's great. And I a few years they've even gotten rookie all-star, and we'll work with them throughout the whole competition. You really build a bond. I think almost half of our team has Rat Fight shirts because they were one of the teams we helped during Tugger teams last year, and they made it all the way to Worlds. It was great. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So do you help them throughout the whole season or only during regionals?
We help them at competitions if they need help at competition, but we have also expanded Tugger teams to a virtual help desk. So if they need help, we're still in contact with Rat Fight. When we helped them collect the funds they needed to go to Worlds after they got Rookie All-Star, we've also, I know last year we helped a Brazilian team write impact stuff. That's throughout the whole season. But if a team has just gotten to competition and they're new to the game, then we're going to help them at competition, and that's where most of our work comes in, as electrical, mechanical, programs, all putting in double time to get this robot running.
Yeah, so how do you guys balance that kind of thing with also making sure that your robot's good enough? How many people do you have working on this versus on your actual robot and stuff?
At competitions, we usually split it up. So on our competition schedule, we'll have people in the pit from each sub team, and then we'll have people doing Tucker teams, and we'll rotate them through so they don't have to be on that all day. So that way we're able to have some of the people at Tucker teams, some of the people at the pit. And if they need help with the robot, the Tucker team's desk usually isn't that far away, so you can still go get people from Tucker teams if you need them. But we try to keep those kind of as two separate things and have people from both.
At most events, they let us set up a booth elsewhere because we also help the judges if they need supplies or materials. But they're separate because, sometimes there'll be a certain device that I need for another team in the pit, and I have to sneak in and grab it. But they're two different environments, and you don't want to ruin your competition bot because you're in the way of the people working on the robot. Because this team, they need duct tape for their impact presentation. We need to get them duct tape now. They're on in 20 minutes. So we have different supplies at the different booths.
Because I know we've definitely looked into something like this, but we just don't have the people to do it, I don't think. And there are some teams that are doing it locally. I think Pulse does it, 694, and then Robo what was the other one? There's another team that also does. Yeah, there's a few teams that do it at the New York City regionals that help out a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Adding on to that, how many members are like in your team?
Right now, it's about 35. Sometimes we have 40, but this year it's a little bit smaller. And usually the people that don't make it onto the team, since we don't want the team to be too big, we put them on the drone team so that they're able to get on the team next year once they have more experience.
So we can only handle travel costs and hotel and food for so many people. So those who aren't quite ready for the team, go to drone team.
So does the drone team compete at the regionals you guys go to, or is it separate?
They have a separate competition, so they have like their own regional and stuff like that. So they do a competition separate from FRC, but we definitely go try to support them at the competitions, like be there to cheer and stuff like that.
They're doing really well.
I think they got second or third?
So.
Nice.
Fourth. They got fourth. And then hopefully next year, because it's mostly 8th graders, we can't accept all 8th graders. We want to prioritize seniors and older members so they can get a chance. Hopefully next year they'll move up and use that knowledge to help out on the team.
Really cool. So your team has obviously won EI and Chairman's. So what years did you win each one, and like what initiatives during that time do you think pushed you guys to winning such big awards?
So we've definitely won EI a lot. I can't remember every year, but I know the two most recent were 2022 and 2023. And then we earned Hall of Fame status in 2017, so that was Chairman's. After 5 years, they're allowed to compete again. So last year was our first year competing, and we won Impact at regionals. I think the biggest thing for Chairman's would have been our Mars plan. So
yeah, the business plan.
Mars business plan. So engage, inspire, sustain. Remember all of this?
Because I know a lot of teams, like when we created that as a way to organize our team, a lot of teams were able to kind of learn from that and make their own improved versions of it as well. So that was definitely a big initiative that helped with Chairman's, and I think it also was able to help a lot of other teams later on too.
It became a bit of a standard, I think, for Impact and their stuff. But yeah, we have Inspire. I don't remember what it is. Engage, inspire, sustain, progression of programs, create leaders and innovators. And then our motto is we will become the inspiration. So that was the biggest thing that won us Chairman's. Last year, I'd say it was probably hybrid outreach or MIP. MIP is something we initiated in our team, so the Mars innovation process, just to encourage iterative design. So that's something we've been working on. I think that helped us get Impact last year.
What's hybrid outreach?
It's like the hybrid STEM crafts. So we either do them in person at events, or if we can't go there, we spread them across the states. So the fact that they're hybrid, online and in person.
So if you guys went to World Championships, could you please share your experience with us? Like, what was your favorite part, and like, what did you guys think of the whole experience?
I think my favorite part was definitely just how big it was. Like, you get there to Houston. I remember the first time I went to Worlds, like we got there, we went to this building, it was like half a mile long. There's like thousands of people, and then you realize they're all from like everywhere. Like, you have teams from Mexico, you have teams from here, you have teams from all sorts of countries. And as you're walking through the pits, you see like all these people working. And it's like everyone's united in one big community, or they're also competing. So just like how big it was probably the best part for me, just being able to be there and like all the energy that was there. And then especially at the end of Worlds, when like Dean Kamen comes out, it gets really crazy. So it's
The
just like,
smoke machine.
yeah, just how big it was and like just the vastness of it was definitely the best part for me.
We've been really lucky as a team. We've only not gone to Worlds 1 year in 2009. No one talks about 2009, so don't bring it up in front of Earl. But it's really fun going. I love seeing how so many different people and different teams find different solutions to the same problems. Like the jumping robot last year, that was crazy. But just seeing how everyone solved things, and I like, oh, did you see the goldfish bowl robot last year?
Yeah. There were some really
Yeah,
like
it was-
interesting like tiny robots last year that did like there was one that had a
Yeah, that
laundry
one.
basket.
Yeah, the laundry
I remember
basket.
that one. We were like
Tide-
cheering for it.
Tide butt, I think it was called.
They like got I think they like got picked and were like finalists in their division or something. They
I
were
remember.
yeah.
there's so many hyped teams. It's just like nerds upon nerds upon nerds in an overfilling stadium of just like
Yeah.
wacky people, and it's great. And you see their crazy robots in insane matches.
I remember when the jumping robot was playing, it was so crazy. So many people went over to their field
Yeah.
just to watch that robot. It was insane.
Mhm. Yeah, I know that jumping robot. I got to saw it. I got to see it like once, and I was like on the very edge of that stands because everybody else
Yeah.
was pulled in. That might have been. Yeah, I think that was
Oh.
playoffs too. So like, it was.
That should be the goal of robot design, just absolutely wacky creations. I think like,
Mhm.
what could we do to mimic that?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
the goal. To make
That's the goal.
something so cool that everyone just goes to see it at Worlds.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to win. It just has to like win our
Be cool.
hearts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the people's robot.
Yeah, I know in 2022 we put a hatch panel on the back of our robot which is the game piece from 2019, and we just and we had so many teams just come up to us and be like why do you have a hatch panel? It was just
Yeah.
interesting to be like, yeah, we had a bunch of them left over and we just decided to use them, and yeah, just interesting conversation starter for our robot and stuff.
That's smart. Last year our arms broke before one of the last matches, so we used wrenches. And there were wrenches built into the robot for the rest of the year.
Yep.
So I understand where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
we watched our mentor saw the wrench in half live in the pit, so he could put it on the robot. It was great. That was definitely my favorite part of that robot. Was the fact that we just had straight up just a wrench
Wrenches.
instead of an
Yeah.
actual part there. Kept it for the rest of the year.
That's how you get
If it
EI.
works, it works.
Wrenches.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, so like going off that, what sparked interest in robotics for you guys personally?
I guess Mars, like being interested in Mars in particular, I saw one of their outreach events when I was a kid. They had like one of the basketball shooting robots, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, like getting to play around with the controller and just like move it around. But robotics, I'd say probably my dad, we would like, the college students throw out computers sometimes on move out day, so we'd go and pick up computers that they had thrown out and just like take them apart and mess with them. I think that's probably what sparked it.
I think for me, robotics in general was like I was interested in computers, and I remember one of my friends told me he was on a robotics team, so that's how I ended up joining FLL. And then one day I was at this building over the summer, and one of my other friends saw me at the vending machine, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to join Mars? It's an FRC team." And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And then he dragged me down to the basement of this building to the Mars workspace, and then I don't think I've left since. I've been here forever, permanently. This is my new home.
Yeah.
Have alumni within your team like pursued higher educations in STEM, and are you guys planning to?
Yeah, so I think a really interesting part about our team, we have 98% of us pursue post-secondary education as compared to our state's 45.9, and then 83% of our team have ended up in STEM related fields. And I know I'm interested in STEM related fields.
I am also going to be going to a STEM related field.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then those who don't, I mean, we have lots of people going into trade or, arts fields. I know Danny Hanselman, they're going into culinary. They're gonna, I think, where are they working right now?
I don't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of us, 83%.
What are you guys planning to do in college?
So I'm probably going to be majoring in neuroscience, and then we'll see exactly what I decide to do. But that's like at least my major, and then I'm going to see if I can maybe like take some CS classes too, because I've enjoyed programming.
I think I'm going to do CS just because it's so applicable to pretty much any field, and then I think I'd like to minor in arts. So CS and arts, which is really that's pretty much this year's theme, isn't it?
Yep, you
Yeah,
were
look at that.
you're
STEM
first.
and art. I'm STEAM.
Dean came.
So those are all the questions from our team. So now will be like an open floor discussion, and your team can ask any three of us any questions about anything.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
We were curious about what led to your podcast and why you decided, other than just like the 50 states, or I don't know. I thought it was an interesting idea. I really liked the going from each state. Like I saw where you interviewed TC Poofs, where we were wondering the inspiration behind.
So we started podcasts last year, and we wanted like a way to reach out to teams who we couldn't really meet face to face. So last year, like we interviewed a team from the Dominican Republic, Steampunks, and we got like really close to them. Like we housed their robot when they came to a regional near us. So this year we thought how about we do like a 50 state series? So interview one team from each state, and we learn more about like how their team operates. Because I think one thing about our team is like we're in an area where there's so many FRC teams around us, and a lot of the teams like from the Midwest especially, they didn't have a lot of teams around them, and we wanted to know like how they function and how they go to regionals, how their team operates, etc. So it's been a great like learning experience, I would say.
Yeah.
I heard you say. Oh, sorry.
And also like to go off like. Yeah, we learn a lot from the just diversity of the different teams that we're talking to, because they're not all from like New York is very, at least Long Island where we're from has like almost every school district has an FRC team, or like probably about half, whereas in some areas where you're like there's 3 teams in your area, right? So like just the differences have been helping us just see how we can help out with other teams and just learn more about different places basically.
Okay, so wait, how many school districts do you have? Like, I'm curious, how many FRC teams are in New York?
There's a lot.
You know that?
How it works? Yeah.
I believe there's about 120.
100
That's
just
a
in the
lot,
city or in the state?
In the whole state, there's probably about 2/3 of that in the city and in Long Island, and then about 1/3 upstate, about near Albany and near Rochester.
For your guys' regional,
That is a lot.
from other states come too, right?
At our regionals?
Yeah.
Yeah, so since there are only 3 states or teams in West Virginia, and I think we're actually losing one,
Yeah.
so there may be less next year. We don't have a regionals at West Virginia. We kind of choose where we want to go. So we've chosen Pittsburgh this year and Miami Valley, but we kind
I
of.
remember we also went to the Albany regional. It wasn't last year; it was the year before. So that was also cool.
I wonder if you saw them. I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
We don't
go
go
around.
to Albany.
Yeah. See, like you guys have like different, like you go to a different states regional. For our regional, it's like basically all Long Island teams in our regional.
And
Oh,
international.
like-
We don't really get a team from like West Virginia showing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
That makes
I'd
sense.
say our
Maybe we
main
could
regional
fly.
is like 20 minutes away from
Yeah.
us. So like it's literally just go out on a bus, come back, and then even like we go into New York City for
That's,
a few
45.
for like one of our other regional, and that's only like an hour to an hour and a half sometimes. So it's like completely different where you guys are like
Yeah.
completely traveling, getting hotels.
For us, yeah, we
everything.
have like all the parents and mentors like volunteering to drive like 6 hours to the regional and then staying
they're
at hotels.
always so far away. It's always like 6-7
Mhm.
hours, and we have to find hotels and figure out how to travel, which is
Yeah.
not good for an already poor
Yeah,
team.
it is. It's a good like bonding experience though. You end up hanging out with everyone on the team, and you're like
Mhm.
bound to become friends with them. It's like
Yeah.
predestined. You don't have a choice.
Yeah,
No.
I know
It's
that.
like, and you first, sorry.
I know that a lot of teams around here. This year one of the regionals like stopped. They normally run 2 regionals for Long Island. They're only doing 1 this year. So like I know a lot of teams had to go much further out. I think a team's going to like Arkansas, or I know a team's going to Florida for a regional, and yeah, I know
Yeah.
they aren't exactly happy about that.
Yeah. Didn't we have the option to go to Hawaii?
I
or something?
I voted for going to the Florida regional purely because we could go to Disney World the day after, but sadly it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. So wait, as a Long Island team, you can't be at other New York regionals. It has to be Long Island specific.
No, you can. It's just so much more convenient to be at the
Yeah, that
other
makes
one.
sense. Yeah.
And like our school won't like they don't want to have to deal with the logistics if we don't have to.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And also like since there's 100-ish 120-ish teams, but there's only 5 events. So if most teams want to go to 2 events, then the events are basically full. So we tried getting into 3 this year and we just weren't able to because we were totally
3.
injured.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We usually only do 2, but I know one year we did 3 and one of them was back to back. Like
Day after.
it was what we went to Albany and then we were there, and then literally the second Albany ended, we drove down to Pittsburgh and we were there for the whole competition. So that was a crazy week, but it was definitely fun. I remember sitting in the car, falling asleep on the way to the Pittsburgh regional.
As if you're not already sleep deprived from
Yeah.
1 competition.
Yep.
From 2.
Yeah. Well, when the past few years we've been doing Long Island, both Long Islands back to back. And that's basically just like we don't have to go anywhere for it. It's just like you just stay in the same place, but it's still like your robot gets destroyed at the end of it. It's like so
Right.
it's like a real endurance test of your robot.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of
I
endurance,
was just about to
tests,
say, speaking of endurance.
we're doing it this year too, so you guys should sign up. But we host an FRC competition called WV Rocks, so West Virginia Robotics Extreme, and it's the world's only FRC endurance event. Our team 26-14, so we run for 26 hours, 14 minutes, no pauses between matches, no sleeping allowed. You slept last year. If you want to come, you should sign
in the
up
off season, we're definitely
Yes.
taking teams. So.
over summer. So you should come down to West Virginia.
Yep. 26 hours straight of just
I should
FRC.
convince my team.
26 hours
I
and
think-
30 minutes.
It's great. Yeah.
Easy.
We have teams from all over the world show up. It's
It's so
awesome.
fun. And then we have like special matches too. Like I know last year we did a mentor match where the drive team had to be mentors from your team. Or
It was
like the
good.
lights out,
They were
things
good.
like that. It was really fun, yeah.
All sorts of crazy matches. We'll make stuff up, and then I don't know. It's really fun trying to stay awake. You're up all night long on the robot, working with other teams. It's great.
Yeah.
Some people bring tents and sleeping bags if they want to.
Yeah.
I like to challenge myself.
Yeah, my goal was stay awake, and I did. And then the next day, I was asleep for the entirety of the day. I got home, and passed out.
You guys should come.
Yeah, it's fun.
to-
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. Do you
I
think
don't
Laspina would be?
We'll definitely have to
Up for it?
convince him. We'll convince our mentors. Yeah.
I think Troy would be up for it.
Yeah. Is it an off-season event or during
Yeah,
the
it's off season.
Off-season event, so
Yeah.
you can wreck your robot there if you want to. Never
When is
used
it? Is
Oh,
it?
cool.
It's on. I don't remember the date.
It's like endish of summer, usually.
Yeah, near the end of summer-ish. We can.
We'll send you an email.
Yeah, we can send you it. Yeah.
Okay.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be up on our website once
Yeah.
everything's done. I think
We
it
have
actually
the
might be on our
flyer.
website.
Yeah, there's the flyer. We
I'm
can
gonna
just
look it
send them that.
I had it open earlier today because I was compiling information,
Ah.
as one does.
Of course.
So, do you guys build the field like in the university?
Yeah.
Yes. So we have a field up at our so we have stuff at WVU, And then we have another building supplied by Mon County Schools. It's up near the middle school, and that houses our field. We invite other FRC teams to use it since there are only 3 of us in the state, and they don't have much room. They come up here usually to work on it. So we take that field, and I think we get some others too. I think that becomes the practice field, and we get an actual first field, and we set it up in the building.
Set it up every year before the competition.
Let me see. It says,
it is on
team attendance.
That's not it.
This is just a.
Does it not have the date on here? That's crazy.
It does not.
Okay, well, we can send you it though.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
this is just like getting stuff out there. You can find it on our website, marsfirst.org/WVBox. And there you go. Should be information. Anyways, you should come. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I know that. We host a practice event like before the competitions, and it's like a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get these things set up and stuff.
Yeah.
And yours is probably much harder because it's way longer.
Yeah, that's why we have to do it every other year.
We're inviting more kids here. Usually there's a wait list, but we're gonna invite I think like
Yeah, I think
35.
we have
since
more
moved to
states this
Fairmont.
year, so
Lot, as many as we can fit in our little tiny West Virginia roads.
country roads even.
So like, how much of the field do you actually build for like practice? Do you build a full field?
For practice, we have a field area, but we really only build half of the field, and then we just use that and like we can mirror it and in our code to just get the other half.
Just got a date, August 2nd and 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
This should be before I go to college. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna be.
You guys aren't too.
We're both seniors,
Yeah.
so they're gonna steal us for volunteers. They need as many volunteers as they can get.
Yep.
How's
That's pretty.
Do you have any other questions?
How did you guys get into robotics?
Should I start?
Yeah, I'll go you start.
Okay, so I started a community FLL team back in 5th grade, and with my parents and a few other kids. And then so we did that for a few years. And then at the end of my 6th grade year, we talked to the district's director of technology and a few principals, and we got it like reinstated as the middle school team. So then we were able to I was able to continue that and like train up basically the teachers to do that. And then I just joined the high school team after that. The high school team's been running for much longer, so then that's basically how I got involved.
I was in FLL since 6th grade, in the middle school, and I helped with like the project side. I helped with like the core value boards and all of that. And then in high school, I got more into operations, and now I manage the podcast. So yeah.
I started robotics because my brother was in robotics, so I was like, I should probably like also do it because it seemed interesting. And I tried at first working in the lab, but then I got more into operations, and I sort of like grew from there, and now I'm fundraising.
So is operations your? So we have OPR, outreach and public relations. Is that what you're?
Yeah, that's basically operations.
Yes. So operations deals with all of our outreach to sponsors, all of our outreach to impact award activities, impact award submissions, and then also any social media, all that, like everything that's not working in the lab.
Yeah, like
directly.
non-technical stuff.
Yeah.
It's always interesting seeing how teams are structured.
Yeah.
It sounds like our OPR does much the same stuff. So impact, grants, outreach, fundraising, that sort of stuff. And then you have operations and lab. Is that your other half? Or do you split up
Engineering,
more
yeah.
than that?
Yeah, we call it the lab because that's
Engineering.
where they work.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
within engineering, there's obviously the mechanical, electrical, programming, those sort of breakdowns.
Right.
And then we also have like a carpentry team that helps like build the field, and they work with a group of parent volunteers. And one of the IT people at our school is an alumni of the team. He takes the lead with that these few years. So
We like one of the main
It sounds
Sorry.
You go first.
One of our like main reasons to have a carpentry team is because of like our Regal event where we build like the whole field out of wood for Regal Eagle Rampage. So I think that's one of the main reasons we have that.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like we have very similar team structure. So OPR and then our what do we call the main group? Technical. OPR and then technical instead of lab would be mechanical, programming, electrical.
Call our workspace the lab. That sounds so cool. Like I'm gonna go down to the lab to build a robot.
We
like,
call it the
what?
bakery.
The bakery is cool, yeah.
Oh,
Bakery
bakery.
service.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's
That's
cool.
cool.
Calling the lab the bakery.
We also call it the shop. Like we say, oh, we're gonna close
Yeah,
the shop.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have shop.
Mhm.
And we've got because we're in WVU, they let us have a lot of their machine space. So we've got bakery downstairs, labs over here, machine shop, everything.
See, you're already calling it
Everything
the
good.
lab.
No, that is a lab. That one right there is a lab. The one upstairs is a lab.
Technically. a
Bakery
lab,
is
but-
downstairs, and then the main room is downstairs. That's just
Yeah, that's just
mechanical.
called like it's just where mechanical and
Downstairs.
electrical do their thing.
Mhm.
And then there's the programming and
Programming room.
OPR room. That's the best room, obviously.
Of course.
Mhm. Yeah, we have. How much space? So you guys have like you have machine shops in the college, and then you have like another like open space kind of. Is what you're saying?
Yes. So since one of our main sponsors is the WVU physics department, that's because Earl, our main mentor, was head of physics department. We've got like the whole basement area. So that includes a really big room where we keep the robot, our banners, all of our supplies, and then a ramp up which goes to the programming room, and then the rest of our workspace is kind of separated through classrooms and hallways. We've got a machine shop, another machine shop upstairs with different devices. We're allowed to use the university's water jets and lathe and all sorts of other stuff. And then we're up in the classrooms right now. So they're like, I'd say 5 or 6 rooms in the physics department of the university. And then we have like a giant sort of building that I think used to be a wrestling building up near Mount Air Middle School, and that's the basement is where we host our FLL coaching. So that's all for teaching downstairs and events, and then upstairs is where we keep the field. So it's a lot of space, and we get it from our sponsors. So without our sponsors,
Yeah.
Although we do rent our practice building out for $1 a year because we technically have to pay for it according to like the like Mon County laws or whatever. So the school kind of just let us pay $1 a year to use that building. So that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
if they decided
It's
they
very
needed it for
expensive.
another wrestling team, though,
Yeah.
that'd be rough.
Yeah, we work out of a school, so we get basically one somewhat big room that has like all of our tools, all of our machine shop and all that stuff, and then we get like an office attached to that room that we call like the fish tank that has a few computers in it, 3D printers, electrical components that we don't want to get like mechanical like metal dust in.
Mhm.
And then we have a computer lab that's it's room 108, so we refer to it as 108. And that's the room that the main CS mentor works out of, so it's his room. So.
Yeah.
I don't know how, since we didn't have a school, we kind of just spread. We're like a virus. And after
Yeah.
17 years, we just collected more.
Yep.
Something like that. So it's all spread out, but we've ended up with a lot of space.
We control the entire basement of this building.
Like an invasion of the body snatchers.
Yeah, we're like mad scientists working in like the basement of this university.
They just hear us skittering around downstairs.
Yep.
Ugh, the STEM students. Oh my god. Okay, sorry.
Do you guys have any other questions?
I had a little list, but I don't really think so.
I can't think of any.
Do we want it to go on longer? Because I can pull up questions.
We don't know. Only if you guys have.
Yeah,
It's not like forcing you guys
Yeah.
to forge out questions. Don't worry.
Okay. I don't think we have anything else. It was really nice meeting you guys, though.
It was really nice
Yeah,
meeting you.
same.
Yeah, nice meeting you.